Yo, yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Klue, the motherfucking Don, with another episode of Black Wall Music Podcast. And this is actually a really, really special episode because if you see in the title, this is actually my 60th recorded podcast episode. And this has all been since March of this year, since I've been actually doing the podcast portion of my music reviews. So, yeah, it's a lot of episodes. So, I hadn't really thought about it. I had not I don't know, I never really thought about the aspect of how many episodes I had actually done. I was more so just focused on getting the content out. So it it definitely hits home. Um I hope that my connection is better than what it looks on the screen. So I do apologize if the connection is bad. Hopefully everybody can hear me well. But anyways, so yeah, I really appreciate y'all tapping in with me today. I have some things I want to talk about. It's gonna be, I guess, a little bit of a different episode because, like I said, it's my 60th. This is it's a big milestone for me. Most podcasts they usually only do maybe one episode a week, if not, maybe two a week. Me doing, anywhere between 3 to 4 episodes a week, that's pretty much oh, appreciate you, bro. Me doing so many more episodes, 3 to 4 episodes a week. It's kind of abnormal, when I talk to people about it, when I'm pitching my podcast to different people, whether it been like I had a radio station that I was talking to as far as having a podcast come on, and he was asking me about my frequency, and when I told him, he was like, okay, yeah, that's a little, that's a lot. And I was just like, hey, I feel like if people want to hear you, they're gonna hear you. I look at where I want to be versus where I'm trying to get. Um, if that makes sense. So it's like I'm looking at, I'm inspired, like I talk about the Breakfast Club. I like the Breakfast Club a lot, regardless if I agree with them or disagree with them. Most of the time I like what they talk about. So, and they dropping content every single day and they're recording stuff, actual video recorders have people in there and they dropping the stuff every day. I'm like, if they can do it, then why can't I do it? And I'm pretty sure they have a lot more shit that goes into theirs, right? So anyways, that's pretty much why I do that. I want to thank everybody who has fucked with me so far. Like, there are some, I mean, I have so many different names that I can go down, but there are some people that, I mean, since the moment that I either met them or since the moment that they knew that I was actually doing something, the support has been real. Y'all, pretty much pulled up to, as many things as y'all could. Listen to, as many things as y'all could. I appreciate it, since support of the apparel line. That's a big deal. A huge deal for me. I just saw on my Facebook a couple hours ago that a year ago today is when I officially made the logo for the Black Man Collective. And but yeah, that's when I officially made the logo. So I was like, damn, a year ago today. And literally today is when I'm dropping my 60th episode. That shit was not planned. And it's like, I don't really have any special affinity with the number 60, but it was just kind of crazy. Like, I was like, damn, I wish I remember when I hit 50. Maybe I would have done a milestone episode then, but that's what happens when you just grind the shit out. So speaking of grinding shit out, I want to move into a segment where I talk about the interviews that I've had. I want to just, highlight that artist and then talk about what they're doing now. Because I was writing it down and I've done a gang of interviews and I hadn't even realized how many interviews I did. So starting out, my first interview that I did was with my homie, my brother Armani T. So we did an interview talking about his music and his album. Update on him right now. He does have another album out that just released this year called Perfect Timing. Excuse me. It's on all streaming platforms. So his name is Armani T. And like I said, he's available on all streaming platforms with his new album, Perfect Timing. Blessings to the bro. Next is my homie Tiki Jenkins. It's really crazy, because he was one of my first interviews, but we're going full circle now because we're working on his album release. I'm not gonna drop too many details because I'm not sure what he's ready to share yet. But we are working on doing his album release, as far as like marketing, podcast perspective, whatever. So he's definitely out there cooking. So definitely be looking out for my boy Tiki Jenkins. That's gonna be dropping in September, possibly. So next is Young Parker. So we tapped in with my boy Young Parker and also my boy Casey. We tapped in with him. He had a really, really dope song called "Promise That You Will." Um, yeah, that he made for his fallen homie. And what he has going on now, I was kind of just, so I kind of creep on all the artists. I kind of creeped on them a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Scroll their social media. Some of them I talk to all the time, but other ones I don't really talk too much. So I had to kind of go catch up. But so yeah, he has a few new tracks out. He has a track out called 13 Subliminal on SoundCloud, and he has another one called For the Love. So definitely go check out Young Parker on SoundCloud and all of the platforms. Next, we got my boy Beloved Sands. Beloved Sands, another one of Charlotte's very own. So is my boy Tika Jinx, by the way. But yeah, Beloved Sands, man. So I've been tapping in. I mean, I've stayed in contact with Beloved Sands as well, and this man's like his content, the way he's building right now, is really going to be something that I think is going to shock the game. And I'm not saying it in a sense of like, oh, I'm saying that because that's my boy. Now I'm being 100% honest, and I told him, I was like, yo, this sound that you have going on, this is what is needed, and I really hope that you keep going with it. And from what I've been hearing, he's been going with it. So yeah, it's some different shit. It's like a punk rap type shit, but there go my boy right there. So I'm trying to tell you, keep rolling with that shit, my G, because you on the way, man, for real. Because we'll talk more offline, man. I'm trying to tell you, it's really I kind of listen to a lot of different shit, and I try to anticipate what the new wave is gonna be before it's the wave, because that's really the only way that you're gonna get ahead. Nobody gives a fuck if you're talking about what's going on right now. So it's like, yeah, you on to something, man. So next with that, so we got Shy Monique. So update. I'm not really sure if she's dropped any more music. However, this is a really nice update. She did recently see that she did get married, so that is a really, really beautiful thing. So congratulations to her and her partner. That is really that was really, really beautiful thing for them, for real. And I really hope that that she comes out with something else soon, because I really like her vibe. I really feel like she gives that R&B feel that is missed. And it's like almost like with the first time you heard Giveon. First time I heard Giveon, I was just like, R&B's back. About fucking time. Somebody get rid of Chris Brown now. Like, what I'm saying? Like, I was really, excited for it, so it was same with Shy Monique. I feel like, her coming into the game and her having the different aspirations or inspirations that she has the ability to definitely bring something that we are missing. So anyways, moving on. So next is my boy Northside Nut. Yeah, it's not north side, it's Northside Nut. From another one from the Carolinas. My boy he's from South Carolina, but he lives in Charlotte. So updates on him as well. So I checked out. He has a recent track that just dropped called On God. So you can go check him out on his Instagram or even on YouTube, Northside Nut. He has another track that I really feel like could be, once it's, refined and repolished and shit, could be potentially an anthem for Carolina. I feel like it's been a long time since we had an anthem, and I'm so tired of people bringing up Pity Pablo. It gets old. It gets old, and I'm tired of it. All right, so moving on. We got my boy Dave James. Dave James. So this gentleman, really, really dope cat to talk to. He is working on an album right now. I tapped in one time with him. He was in a live. It was him and Foggy Raw, who's the rapper that was on the track with him and Foggy Raw, called The Nerve. So if you haven't checked that track out, type in The Nerve by Foggy Raw. By Dave James featuring Foggy Raw. Really dope track. But anyways, I tapped in on that live session, and they were in there talking about they were clowning. They were clowning, but it all led up to the to them telling what the album name was, but I can't fucking remember what they said. So you're just gonna have to pretty much go tap in with him. He's on like I said on Instagram. I think his Instagram is Who Is Dave James. Really interesting dude, really dope cat. Next is an interview that I really would actually like to redo, because I feel like I didn't really get a chance to give it as much justice, because it was actually the first interview that I did at a live event. So but we weren't in front of each other. We were still it was still digital, so it was virtual, so it was very hard. But anyways, that is the queen of Crump herself, Miss Prissy. I want to definitely redo her interview so we can have a lot more to talk. I mean, because there's a lot more to talk about, honestly. From the last time we interviewed up until now, there has been a lot of stuff to talk about, whether that be on the music side, whether that be on the Crump side, whether that be on the business side, because she's made a lot of major moves. She recently just trademarked the name or the word Crump. Literally, if you type in Crump, it's like she trademarked that shit, and she did some real power moves. It's really fucking crazy. So, and she did it in a way to preserve the culture, because from my understanding, there was somebody who was not of the culture trying to pretty much lay claim to it. And don't nobody, you can't let nobody in your house trying to be like, what I'm saying, that ain't build nothing, that ain't pay the bill, trying to just, run some shit, right? So I feel like I appreciate what she did and I respect it. But anyways, I don't really know the ins and outs of that, so I'll let her come on here and we'll talk about that one day. What she has going on, man, she's on Caffeine. If y'all haven't heard of Caffeine, it's a streaming app. She had her own show, or has her own show, or series on Caffeine, which is really, really dope. And also, she just started 2 new fans in the Crump game, which, as a crumper, any crumpers listen, y'all know how big that is, for one of the creators to actually start a fam. Regardless if you fuck with her or not, it's a big thing. So, you definitely got to tap your hat, tilt your hat to, who it needs to. But anyways, yeah, shout out to that queen. She's definitely doing some big things. Man, I did a lot of interviews, yo. So next is my girl Triff and my boy Johnny C. So yeah, I called her Trife for the longest time. I kept calling her Trife, and it was what she was like, okay, my name's not Trife. I'm not trifling. It's not short for trifling. It's Triff. And I was like, I'm so sorry. But anyways, yeah. So shout out to her, man. She's really, really dope. She is always supporting my content, always supporting my posts, always, taking the time to leave a inspiring, something, a comment or something like that, or something that made me laugh. Her posts always made me laugh, because she's always be on some shit between her and her sister. They are ridiculous. Yeah, definitely waiting to hear some new music from her. She is always singing. She has so many different videos on her social media, TikTok or Instagram, with her just singing different shit. And I heard a song that her son actually did, and it was the cutest little thing. I was just like, oh, it makes you want a kid. Not really, but it was cute though. It was really dope. So yeah, shout out to Triff. And my boy Johnny C. Drums. Excuse me. Yeah, my bad. Triff. She can be found on Instagram at TRYPH Music. Instagram. And then my boy Johnny C. Drums. I cannot speak today, y'all. I'm a little excited. He's been doing a lot of things. Like I said, he's a drummer, he's a producer, he's a songwriter, and he has been doing a lot of teaching. I was scrolling through his Instagram, and he's been doing a lot of teaching people how to, hold the drum, how to actually play the drums essentially. And I think that's pretty dope. I really think that's pretty dope. If I had the the abilities and the time, and it's like, why not go and get free lessons or free education from somebody who's actually been doing it and been proven to do it. So yeah, I really appreciate that. So shout out to them. They are definitely I really like that interview. I really like that interview. They were funny. They were hilarious. All right, so I got 5 more interviews, y'all. 5 more interviews that I've done. And man, it's crazy. So anyways, next up is my boy Jay Holly. Jay Holly, aka Skinny J, aka Mr. Creators and Collaborations. My man's has been on the move consistently. I have not seen him stop at all since we've spoke. Not to say that I expected him to, but yeah, he's literally been on the move. Like some of the things that I've been seeing him, like one of the things that I appreciate about him so much is that literally, if I ever feel like I need to be tapped in with what's going on in my city, I'm gonna go to his page. If I feel like I need to be tapped in with the people actually really like making moves and making changes and doing real dope shit in my own city, I'm gonna go to his page, because I feel like he's always tapped in with some shit that I just don't see anywhere else. I'm not sure why that is, but I don't care. I mean, I appreciate him for, being so plugged in with that shit. And more specifically, some things he's been talking a lot about the corner CLT, which is a shop out there in Charlotte. He's been talking a lot about that. There's gonna be a pop-up shop with some of the vendors, West Side Scott Studios. He's been talking a lot about that. And I want to say he was just he was just named the creative director or the marketing director. One of those a really dope and prestigious position. I believe that anybody will be able to trust you with their brand. That lets you know that they really trust you with their vision. So congratulations to him for that. Skinny J Adventures too. So the Skinny J Adventures, Skinny J Adventures, is pretty much him, like, going around. I think it's just a city. I'm pretty sure it's just a city, Charlotte, that is, but he might go other places. But he's going around and he's just going to places that we ain't thought about in a while. Like he went to the Paper Doll Stripper Club. Everybody knows that pink building, but it's kind of like, they actually pull up there. It was like, damn, what I'm saying? That's the Paper Doll, you know what I'm saying? Like, or pulling up to that one Waffle House, you know what I'm saying? I think off Wilkinson. And it's like, it's so many different places that it's important to kind of be able to tap in with it, especially since I don't live at home no more. It's good to be able to look and be like, all right, it's still standing at least. Because I went home to Charlotte not too long ago and was motherfucking lost because they done moved around, knocked shit down, built highways, fucking overpasses and shit. And I was just like, the fuck? Like, but anyway, I appreciate Skinny J for that, for real, for real. And also shout out to him for that endangered species exhibit, or endangered species stand or static display that he had during the Durag Fest down in Charlotte that weekend. That was really dope. Next is Girl Gotti, or Top Badge Girl Gotti, a live streamer on POF. She's a top badge streamer on POF. Actually, what that means is that POF pretty much found her fit through her work and through her dedication to actually represent the app on a bigger scale, to be featured on the app. So when people pull up into the app, you pretty much will see her face. That's a really big deal. How she's doing? She's still running shit. I'm saying? She is still running shit. I pull up on Gotti, probably once a day, if not once every other day. When she streams, not everybody streams every single day, or I see her elsewhere in the streets or whatever. And Gotti is Gotti, what I'm saying? She's consistent. And that's what I really appreciate about Gotti, is that she's just consistent with what she does. And I really appreciate if the video is as crappy as it looks on my phone. That's why I keep looking down every once in a while, because it looks terrible. So I will figure that out before my next episode. Next one is Jeremy Layson. Jeremy Layson. So yeah, that's my boy. Sometimes better known Layson Kicks, but that's a sneaker guide, and that's pretty much what I wrote down when I was like, what has he been up to? He's just a sneaker genius. Like, he is like, the shit that he does with shoes is just really amazing. And I appreciate you, G. And it's like, I feel like he is going some places, and he's also teaching. He's teaching people how to pretty much do it too. And he learned how to build a career. We were talking in his interview. He was like, I started doing this shit at this small little desk at the corner of my bed. He's like, I turned that business into a 6-figure business within, I think, like a year, literally making shoes and stitching shoes in his bedroom. Then he went to literally having a 20,000 square foot facility. So it's like, I feel like, shit can just happen that fast, but it literally takes dedication. He was like, he said he had some pretty crazy regimens too. He was like, I don't eat until I've accomplished something. He was like, I'll go, most of the day and not realize I haven't ate because I feel like I haven't done enough. But at the same time, when you see his outcome, when you see the shit he gets from it, it's like, well, shit, he doing something right. So, that's why I would say take a page out of people's books and shit. Now, I'm not necessarily saying I ain't gonna eat until I accomplish something, but sometimes I do that. Sometimes I'm like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of where the whole thing. All right, vulnerability moment. Let me get vulnerable for a second. So when I'm recording my podcast in the morning, y'all hear me say stank breath in the morning medicine. So just a little quick thing about that. So every morning when I record my podcast, I am sitting in my car with my medicine and with y'all first thing in the morning. And I ain't even brushed my teeth yet. I ain't washed my ass. I ain't want I'm trying to say, like, it literally, I just be like, I'm really coming in there raw with what is on my mind, because usually I go the night before and I'm thinking about what I'm gonna say, and then I wake up the next morning trying to figure out if that's the same thing I'm gonna say, and really all the way up until the point where I hit record is when I decided that that's what I'm gonna say. because sometimes I get distracted and sometimes I get inspired to talk about other shit. But yeah, I pretty much decided to bring it to it, bring into go into the situation real raw because I don't want to seem too polished, especially when it comes to my daily podcast. You know what I'm saying? For my interviews and when things that I'm in front of the live video, it kind of makes a little bit more sense. But when I'm just, really just sitting there talking to y'all, I want y'all to hear the real. I'm finna be on 2 week fasting. And you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you that's what I need to do is not eat to be successful. But anyways, all right, so moving on. So next, my last two, I have Miss Kendra Crump. She is a comedian that has came on to two of my Thankful Fridays. Really, really talented young lady. I appreciate her for coming on. She always comes with the laughs, with the randomness, with the shit that just catches you off guard. She caught me off guard within like the first 5 seconds of the show last time, and I was just like, but she's a pleasure. She really is a pleasure. She's doing big things too. You can check her out on Instagram. She has the Kendra Crump Show. Kendra, that is Kyndra. Every time that I've spelled her name in anything that I posted, I've always spelled it wrong. I'm realizing that now, but she's never corrected me. So now I'm just like, all right, like, damn, I hate spelling people's names wrong because I hate when people spell my name wrong. But anyways, we're gonna talk about that. I'm gonna have to apologize to her because I do not like when people do that shit. And then multiple times at that, like multiple times. That's what's crazy. All right, so lastly, I have my boy Richard Cutright, or Cutright, Mr. Cutright, however you want to say it. This is one of my homies, my brothers from more than half my life. Yeah, more than half my life at this point. I've known this cat. So some of the things he's been working on, I know he always has music cooking up. He always has music cooking up. I mean, literally the day after we interviewed, he sent me a track that he was talking about that he was cooking up the same morning of the interview. So it's like he always has something going on. Definitely excited to hear what that is. Speaking of, I saw that he is actually going to be on an EP with this cat named Jamie Vozo, and the EP is called "What's on My Heart." So that's going to be a really dope opportunity to hear him on somebody else's music. And then also, I didn't realize when we did our interview that he had the opportunity to do something called the Stop the Violence Day. And I don't really fully know exactly what it was, but it doesn't really matter. I really want to know what it is now because anything that sounds, stop the violence, why would I not be in support of it? I feel like, those initiatives and those talks, you know, go to the wayside sometimes because we forget that we have to talk to our own people at the same time as educate other people outside of us. Sometimes we get so focused on educating people outside of us that we forget that we need to turn around and talk to our own people. Charity starts at home. All the education shit starts at home. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, being able to really talk to your own and keep that shit within the community, that's really where you build that shit. Let's pick up the fight. I'm not really sure what pipe you're talking about, so I'm not. Oh man, oh man. But so yeah, man. I like I said, I man, it's been a journey. It's been a real journey. I It's like if I really tried to like sum up everything that has happened in the last 8 to 9 months, it would be very no. I would say probably I would say longer than that. I would say in the last probably 15 months, it will be very, very, very hard to put that all into one, neat ball because it ain't neat. It ain't cute. It ain't pretty. There was a lot of shit, just personally. Um, there was a lot of shit personally. There was a lot of shit mentally. There was a lot of, you know, I really wish I could really put it into words, but all I'm gonna say is that to be able to I'm saying really be actually seeing progression in the thing that I've aspired to do and started. It is definitely a blessing. I feel like the fact that I can do 60 episodes and not even really realize that I've actually done 60 episodes is a blessing because that lets me know that I'm still in love with it. And The interviews, I have my daily podcast, which is that's when I'm really able to kind of, say what I want to say, and just kind of, and not really have to worry about too much of a back and forth. I can just kind of say what I need to say and keep it moving. But my interviews are, that's different. That and to be honest, that's really my bread and butter. That is really what Black Wall Music Podcast is about. It's about talking to, because so I have to, so let me just explain the vision. So me being the music podcast, I'm reaching out to all these new artists saying, "Hey, I checked out your music. I like your music." And I've already said it. If I reach out to you, then I actually like your music. If you reach out to me and I interview you, that's different. That doesn't necessarily mean I like your music. Not saying that people who have reached out to me, I don't like it, but y'all see what I'm saying. I'm reaching out to these new artists saying, "Hey, I like your music. I want to talk to you on my podcast. I want to know about you, and not to talk about your music. I want to know about your life. I want to know about your inspirations. I want to know about what made you do what you do. I'm going to make sure that you know that I'm a fan, that you have other fans out there, and now other fans have an opportunity to get to know you, and not get to know the you once you've been signed, but they get to know the you right now." Because it's always cool being able to have an artist and be able to look back and be like, okay, yeah, this is where I started, blah 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 blah, whoop 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 whoop. But it's even doper to be able to see an artist grow from the bottom up, actually really see them at that grinding mode. And eventually what's going to happen is, as I continue to roll out and talk to these new artists, as I continue to reach out to them, as I continue to get that buzz, these new artists are going to come into the game, and eventually Black Wall Music is going to be the gateway, or a gateway, for new artists on some double XL freshman team shit, but on a much lower level. Because I'm not trying to have people who have just huge ass buzz already. Not necessarily. I'm trying to get the people who have definitely been putting in the work, who have definitely been laying down those bricks, but they just need somebody just to show that they're interested. And the more that I grow my platform, the more that I will be able to offer to them. Because right now, what I can offer to them is my time, and what I can offer to them is definitely some new fan base, but not a crazy amount, but it's getting up there. So like I said, it's just about bouncing off of each other, because they're gonna share my shit, I'm gonna share their shit, boom boom boom. It keeps on working back and forth, and like I said, eventually it's gonna be like, yo, you want people to hear your music, yo, you should go on Black, yo, you should hit up Black Wall Music, like for real. He'll bring you on the show, he'll talk to you about it, he'll play some music in that motherfucker, he'll tell you how he feels about it. He gonna keep it respectful. He gonna keep it G, and he also makes dope clothes. And have you seen him? He's pretty handsome. So it's like, I feel like there's just so many different there's so much out there. Like there's so much out there. The other day I posted, I was like, damn, I can't believe I'm like, I'm pretty much booked out until October. And when I thought about it, I was like, that's really not that strange. It's not that strange, because I set it up to be that way, and that there's so many people out there. There's so much music out there that we will never hear, and that's the music that I'm going for. Some of the music that I've been popping up on, that I've been checking out, that I've been finding, I'm just like, yo, this shit is really dope, and why are we not hearing this shit? And speaking of some of those artists that I've been hearing, that I've been trying to figure out why we haven't been hearing more of it, I'm going to be interviewing a lot of them. So I'll have pretty much my next like 6 interviews, just real fast. I have on August 20th, I'm interviewing the homie Lil Six. He's out here in Sacramento, California. So I'm be pulling up on him, having that interview. This cat actually has some pretty legendary backstories and backgrounds, and his family is really legendary in the game. I had the pleasure of yeah. So I'm like I said, I'm gonna be able to interview that dude. We're gonna get the chopper, man, because he seems like a real genuine cat. Next after that, I'm interviewing Mr. Dorian Goodson, or D Money. He's out there at Fayetteville, North Carolina. Really, really talented artist, producer. He just does it all. He talks a lot about. I really just like what he talks about. He talks about that, the business plan. Trying to bring money back to the community, trying to put people on. What I'm saying, just trying to. It's really just a real chill vibe, a really, really chill vibe, and I really fuck with it. So yeah, I'll be interviewing him on August 24th. So next after that, I have my boy HB Fast, First Place Fast on Instagram. Another cat that is out in Sacramento, California. he has been like ever since I popped across his page. I'm not even really sure how I came across it, but he is like hella active. Like he is hella active. He's always dropping music. He's always dropping covers, to songs that are relevant. That's a really big thing. I'm saying, if you're gonna drop a song to a song that is not relevant anymore, it's hard to do that until you've been relevant. Like you can't drop an old cover if you're not relevant yet. And I know that might sound crazy, but it's kind of how it is. But or you're just gonna sound like everybody else. I just feel like that. But anyways, yeah, man, he dropped that Waukesha cover, that Moneybag Yo. That shit is dope. So, anyways, I'm interviewing him on August 27th. Moving on to my boy Jason Minifee. He is another dope rapper from where is he from? Actually, I want to say he's from the Midwest. I'm not as 100% sure where he's from, but he's in the Midwest. And I'm gonna be interviewing him, another dope rapper, really really chill vibe once again. He is like kind of like, I wouldn't say on a conscious tip, but not to the point where you feel like it's gonna put you to sleep. It's definitely some bars. So I'm interviewing him on September 7th. I skipped one. And I'm actually really excited about this one. So going back to September 3rd, I'm going to be interviewing this beautiful queen. She is a really dope artist, producer, songwriter, and musician from New York City, from NY. Her name is Nisha the Chef. So I'm going to be interviewing that queen. Really excited to talk to her because she has a really different sound, and I just want to also make sure that I want to blend it up. Like I be talking to a lot of guys, you know what I'm saying, and it's like I don't want to ever miss out on the really dope female artists out there, or any other genders for that matter. I want to talk to everybody, so I really want to have everybody get their shine. So anyway, it's really really dope to be able to talk to her. So yeah, it's gonna be a dope interview. And the last one that I'm gonna talk about, because like I said, I can go all the way to October, but I ain't gonna bore y'all with that. Next one I have is my boy. Actually, it's a duo. It's a group. It's Cons and Joe. So they're gonna be on the show. They are from Ohio, and they dropped a EP called Planes 2. That's available on all streaming platforms. Um, I'm not really sure how I bumped across them either. I want to say they were sponsored on Instagram, but yeah, they have a really really dope vibe as well. Their song Boarding Pass has definitely caught my ear, and I had to write them. And I'm pretty sure I even said that when I wrote them. I was just like, yo, that boarding pass is shit. Like what the fuck, yo? Like what the fuck? Like this shit's crazy. It's dope. Like I need to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm really gonna come to people like, if I'm a fan of yours, I'm gonna tell you that I'm a fan of yours. And and I feel like that makes the difference, when you're talking to artists, because they want to know that you're genuine. I'm not just trying to talk to you for the clout. There are some people that are okay, and let me actually go into detail with that, or go into a little bit of a segue with that. This clout thing, right? So everybody's like, doing things for clout, doing things not for clout, blah, blah, blah. I don't have an issue. I don't think doing things for clout is wrong, as long as you've earned that clout. As long as you've earned that position to do that shit. Once you grind it, and once you put down that foundation, and you're able to actually reach out and do those things, then you can do those things. Because why would I ever want to stay in the same position, or only want to be put myself at one level? So eventually I'm going to have to move myself to that next level. But when I move myself to that next level and I start dealing with higher profile people, is that clout, or is that I built my own steps so I could step up and go to the next thing? You feel what I'm saying? So you have to look at that shit. You have to really realize, either for you, or if you're looking at somebody thinking that they're doing some shit for clout, really look at how that shit is layering itself out. Because if I come in fresh into the game, like super fresh into the game, and I'm sending, J. Cole messages like, yo, bro, like, what I'm saying? Like, it's just not how it works. I'm gonna work my way up. I'm gonna work with all these artists around J. Cole. I'm gonna work with all these artists around J. Cole to the point where he's gonna hear my name eventually. And then, eventually to the point where I'm not saying that he would ever reach out to me, but eventually get to the point where it's like, once I do reach out, it's like, bet. It's kind of like that whole seat at the table type of thing. Now, granted, you don't got to make me a seat. I'm going to bring up my own motherfucking chair, and I'm going to bump elbows with y'all to move out and make sure I got a space. But when I come into that motherfucker, I'm going to have something to say, and I'm always going to have my ducks in a row. So, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, just realize that there's a little bit different with that shit. And just, keep it a stack. Keep it a stack, and, like, the biggest thing that I think that's the last point that I'm pretty much gonna make before I tap out of here, and this is probably the one of the most important things that I can say, kind of summing up these last 60 episodes. Um, my podcast is different. It's primarily a music podcast, but at the same time, I want to make sure that I talk about the things that, one, I feel like we don't talk about enough, or two, the things that we don't want to talk about, or that just don't get talked about. You know, when I talk about when I talk about business shit, when I talk about history shit, you know, when I talk about you know, what actually makes up an album, when I talk about, you know, music distribution, when I talk about you know, putting yourself in the right places, plugging in, having those connections, and da 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 da. You know, it's all relatable to whoever it needs to relate to, and everybody has a following. Everybody has a following. That's actually part of my course that I'm gonna put out there. Is like, everybody has a following. Somebody's going to listen to you. Somebody. When I was looking at my analytics, I saw that I was literally being streamed in 11 different countries. Like, it was like, you know, 11 different fucking countries, and random as shit. United States, Japan, Switzerland, Finland, Nairobi. They go, what? Like, I mean, not Nairobi, Kenya. Like, it was really like, it really blew my mind to think that somebody out there decided to watch my shit or to listen to my shit. But it also solidified my position in the shit that much more. That much more. I told you niggas that I was going to be known across the country by the end of this year. Just a few months later, I'm noticing that my stuff is being picked up around the world. Now, it's not hard to do. Now, I'm not trying to sit up here and act like I just did some crazy feat that's impossible. Nah, it's not impossible. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna say it's not hard to do. I'm just gonna say it's not impossible. But like I said, all of what I'm trying to say is, wrapping all this shit in together, is do not allow anybody to knock you off your shit. Do not allow anybody to knock you off your shit. Everybody is not your enemy. And just because they don't understand your vision, they don't understand where you're going with it, they don't understand your drive, doesn't mean that they're your enemy. But also make sure that you are not allowing them to take you off your rocker, because there are so many different times that I can look at in the last, you know, 2 years, to be completely honest. I said 15 months, but I'm just gonna keep it at 2 years, that I can count how many times that I just thought that I was gonna be like, fuck it, like, this shit ain't working, or there's too much other stuff going on that I can't focus on this. And, you know, all I kept hearing was, you know, whether it been my boy Casey telling me, you know, consistency, like, you just need to be consistent. You start dropping stuff and then you stop. You know, I think the same with my boy William. He said the exact same thing. And then moving on into my wife, she had said the same thing. She was like, just show up. Just show up. And once I started to continuously show up, and once I started to continuously actually be there, people started to be like, yo, I think he's serious about this. I think he's serious, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, damn, that's all I needed, was just to kind of continue to do it. And that also came with being able to put all that time into it. I haven't always been able to put all my time into it. So there's so many different aspects to that. But like I said, if you're doing anything, whether it is you're owning the business, whether it is you're an artist, whether it is you're working a 9 to 5, whether it is you're cleaning bathrooms, whether it is you're working at McDonald's, whether it is you're running the Fortune 500 company, stock exchange, social media managers, cosmetologists, you know, anything. I really don't give a fuck what it is. Don't let nobody knock you off your shit, because ain't nothing stupider than sitting there looking stupid because you let somebody stupid knock you off your shit. Yeah, I'm not gonna say nobody stupid, but I'm not really trying to. I ain't gonna say that because it doesn't necessarily have to be negative people, but there's just no worse feeling than knowing that you allowed somebody to dismantle you. Don't allow it. It's easier said than done, but don't allow it, because you are going to potentially block your own direction for it. You're going to block your own blessing. You're going to block your own doorway, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody opened the door for me, but I was able to move shit out of the way, so move the smoke out of the way so I can see that motherfucker. So I know exactly where to put my foot, right where the hinge is. So when I kick that motherfucker, it opens up. Free game. But anyways, I really appreciate y'all tapping in with me. This is Klue the motherfucking Down. Like I said, 60th episode. I'm not even sure if there's anybody that is gonna watch this all the way through. This is one of my longer podcasts, so I've been talking a lot. But yeah, I really appreciate y'all rocking with me. If y'all were here for the beginning of the podcast, if you're watching visually, this is one of my first times actually recording directly from my computer, and also I'm using a different mic. Like I said, I've been doing most of my podcasts with this bad boy right here and a little handheld microphone. I was recently extremely blessed. Somebody, I mean, just keep it a stack. Somebody just gifted me a microphone. Like they just literally I was telling them, we were talking and shit, and they were just like, "Yo, here, like, go forth and prosper." And I was just like, "What the fuck?" And it was amazing. It was humbling, and it really let me know that people believe in me. And sometimes you really just need to be reminded. And for the people, and then my last point, I promise you I'm done. I feel like a pastor. Well, I won't be here all day. I'm gonna get y'all out of here by 12 o'clock. To the ones who haven't quite necessarily figured out what that thing is, because I feel like, we all have a purpose. We all have a purpose in life. And I think that our purpose is always going to be deeper than working for somebody else. Now, I'm not saying that working a job is a bad thing. I'm talking about having something else, having anything else. It doesn't matter if it's a business, if it's a hobby, if it's an idea, if it's anything, just having something else outside of what you would consider work. Try new things, test it out, test the waters, do something you ain't never done before. Don't limit yourself to your own experiences or the experiences of people around you. Had I limited myself to my experiences of those of the people around me, then I'd be in a completely different place right now in my life. Completely different. I wouldn't have joined the military. I probably wouldn't have never left the city. I probably wouldn't even be here right now, to be completely honest. Because I never was really about the bullshit growing up. I didn't really stay out of it. You know what I'm saying? The homies pretty much they didn't really put me in it or let me stay in it because they knew that, for one, Miss Johnson wasn't playing that shit, and two, I just wasn't really about that life. So I just wasn't. So it's like, but at the same time, the homies are the homies. So eventually, I could have seen myself getting wrapped up into some dumb shit. I'm sure. Probably trying to help somebody because I was a smart friend. You know what I'm saying? Probably trying to be like, "Oh, no, this is how you should rob the bank." Probably, saying some dumb shit. But anyways, yeah, I think that you should just try something different, be different, try to live outside of your comfort zone. Try to, look shit up, Google. Google how much a ticket is to fly to England or the UK. Google how much a ticket is to fly to Canada, to Mexico. Get out of North America if you can. Google those tickets, and you really think about it, it's not as expensive as you think. And some people, they save up and spend, and spend $1,000 to go to a resort in the same country that they live in. Now, I'm not saying that, the United States isn't a beautiful country. It has its features, but it's also like, I mean, you already on a plane. And what I'm saying, the only people that I can really, rock with that is people that literally don't fly planes and they drive everywhere. But you know what I'm saying? So it's like, do something different. Go somewhere different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, versus Vegas, go to France. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Spend that money, that money that you're saving up to gamble, you could be saving that up on your, having fun out there and whoop-de-whoop-whoop. But anyway, getting a little preachy. Thank y'all so much for tapping in. Every single person that has rocked with me. Like I said, the support has been real. You know exactly who you are. The support has been extremely real. To the people that I can't even thank anymore because we don't talk anymore, I really appreciate you. I feel like y'all know where y'all were or what y'all contributed to, and I've never stopped talking about it, and I'm never gonna stop talking about it because, for one, ain't nobody ever gonna come around and be like, I just said I did everything by myself, and I don't know that I didn't. Ain't nobody gonna come around and say that shit. And then secondly, I'm just not a hating ass nigga. Regardless if I still fuck with you or not, I will always, give you props to the parts that you fit in. That's it though. Uh, and to the new people, I really appreciate y'all tapping in with me. Yeah, so we're gonna keep this shit going. It has been a long ass week. I'm very excited for the weekend. The wifey told me she's taking me on a date, so be ready by 7. So pretty excited about that. Giggity. So y'all have a blessed day. I will see y'all Monday morning. Who the motherfucking Don Black Wild Music Podcast, man. I'm sorry. It's like I really don't want to end the episode because it's like that is my 60th episode, and I don't even know if anybody's in here still, but that's completely fine. Much love to y'all. I will talk to y'all Monday.